Hello, and welcome back to Module 3 of our certification program on performance management system. In this module, we will cover factors affecting performance management and scope of performance management. When it comes to performance management design, there are various factors that needs to be accounted for to guide how an organization should approach goal setting, reviews, and appraisals. There are two kinds of factors, intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. Intrinsic factors, which are more internal factors of an organization, have more impact on PMF design as it is very organization specific process. Therefore, in this section, we will diverge into the following three intrinsic factors. One is business strategy, two, organizational environment, and three, talent strategy. Business strategy. A business strategy is a set of competitive moves and actions that a business uses to attract customers, compete successfully, strengthening performance, and achieve organizational goals. It outlines how the business should be carried out to reach the desired ends, or we can say the desired results. So broadly, there are three kinds of generic business strategies. One is operational excellence, two, product leadership, and three, customer intimacy. So organizations that follow operational excellence focus more on process efficiencies, and they look for employees with the following kind of competencies. Number one, process orientation. Two, strive for continuous improvement. Three, managing team or teamwork. And four is driving results. Similarly, companies who follow product leadership, they focus more on innovation as a strategy for their organization, and they look for the competencies in the employees like driving innovation, group problem solving, learning orientation, and knowledge sharing. The third kind of strategy which the organizations follow is customer intimacy, where the focus of the organization is to put customers first. And here the employee competency they look for is listening, rapid problem solving, taking initiatives, and displaying empathy. In nutshell, when we conclude from this slide is, basis the organization strategy, the HR should try to hire people with right competencies and drive their KRAs, KPIs accordingly, and evaluate proficiency on these parameters to drive better results. Second is organizational environment. Organizational environment comprises of the values and principles that binds people in an organization together. It also consists of the organizational structure and workforce characteristics and dynamics. The three kinds of structures which generally exist are, one is either the organizational follows a hierarchical structure, or they work on a team-based working culture, or they have a very formal setup of organization. So, as you can see on the slide, the hierarchical organizations which follow the hierarchical structure, the onus to ensure uniformity lies in terms of quality of final goods, employee capability, performance matrices, etc. with the senior management. The PMS processes are standardized at national level. So as the name already suggested, more it is hierarchy driven, so everything is controlled at the top level, you can say. Team-based means here the working is more collaborative. Team or project-based working executes on a complicated process necessary to deliver the values to the customer. And third is formal setup. So all the processes are documented and formalized with little discretion given to the individual contributor to manage on how to run and implement certain initiatives. This implies that manager would have little or no autonomy on how to run the performance management process. Third is talent strategy. Every organization needs to have a clear blueprint of managing performance. A well-defined talent strategy provides a foundation for the same. A talent strategy is essentially an integrated process set of processes, programs, and technology to design, deploy, and connect critical workforce segments and critical skill set to deliver business priorities. As a result of a war of talent today, it is important for organizations to build strategies around things that matter on critical talent. They develop, grow, deploy into the jobs or projects that encourage them on their connections to others via key networks. That means it also provides them an ability to grow their network. So one of the talent strategy that organizations generally follow is hiring from outside or developing the talents within. So hiring freshers or hiring experienced professionals at every level is generally an example of grooming the talent within. So let us understand all these three strategies or the concepts related to these three strategies through these examples to give you a better idea. So we take an example of Oberoi Group, which is an organization that aims at leadership in the hospitality industry and at creating a memorable experience for queries or for customers, you can say. The iconic brand of over 80 years, the Oberoi Group, anchors its business strategy for customer intimacy on the three core pillars of success, which is product, service, and people excellence. Which means they have encircled these three pillars, which is product, service, and people excellence in Oberoi Dharma, which is a philosophy that anchors all aspects of their businesses. That means they are very specific and they have defined their conduct or their dharma. Some of the pointers or the example is as follows, which is conduct or the behavior, which is one of the highest ethical standard. A behavior which builds and maintains teamwork with mutual trust on the basis of working relationship. A behavior which exemplifies care for the customer through anticipation of need, attention to details, etc. And a behavior of the employee which deliberately avoids the short-term quick fixes for the long-term establishment of a heavy precedent. So these are few examples. This is similar examples. This is how they have already defined their book or their code of conduct of the employees that should exist in the Oberoi Group. You can maybe refer to any of the employee, they can better explain it to you. So this is what they follow. And when it comes to performance assessment, the employee's adherence to the dharma forms an integral part of the appraisal process. These trickles down into the competencies that individuals' goals are then based on. So besides the result orientation, they also have this focus. So this is one example of organization which follow customer intimacy as their business strategy. Second example is of Zappos, which is Zappos.com, which is an American online shoe and clothing retailer company based in United States, Los Angeles, various places. The company was founded in 1999. Zappos is a great example of a company that have heavily embedded its PMS into the values that it stands for. So a couple of years, they have already switched from the traditional approach of result-based reviews, which generally organizations follow. They have switched to a different kind of system, which is more task-based thing, which is the employee are no longer rated on how well they accomplish the task. Instead, they are rated on how successfully they have been able to embody, or they have been able to imbibe and showcase the core 10 values of Zappos. Like few of the example of their core values is like delivering a wow experience to the customer, showing humility to the customer, internal and external. So now they evaluate basis these and not how much sale the person has done. So under the new value-based system, the managers document how many times they notice an employee exhibiting certain behavior, such as expressing their personality or acting humble. Therefore, the managers do cultural assessment rather than performance evaluation and give employees feedback on their fit within the culture and how to improve. One more practice that Zappos follow, which is for their new joinees or new employees, is they provide a 4 weeks training period to the employee, and they also pay the person for that period, and that's a good amount they pay. And after a week or so, what they do is, which they call as the offer, to check the loyalty of the employee, or how much the cultural fit the person is. They offer the employee a certain amount. They say that if you leave today, we are of course going to pay you the amount of the number of days you have worked, but other than that, we will also pay you $1,000 bonus. So additional bonus they offer to the existing new employee to lure them of higher salary, and in case they wish to take that money and leave, through that they check the loyalty. And so we can say that they actually bribe the employees to quit. So that's a very new example to check the new customer retention as well. Third example we can take of Apple, which is a renowned company. So companies like Apple are 40% more productive than average company, according to a research. This is because these companies are able to produce dramatically more output from the same mix of star players through effective performance management. The average company follows a method of unintentional egalitarianism, which means ideology of equal rights, benefits, and opportunities to everyone. It is a principle which generally every organization likes to follow, to give equal rights, equal benefits to all the employees, irrespective of hierarchy. But Apple doesn't follow this. What they do is, company like Apple, however, follow an intentionally non-egalitarian method coupled with differentiation. So which means that Apple, rather than having equality, they believe in differentiating between the employees and their performances. They select a handful of roles that are business critical, affecting the success of the company's strategy and execution, and they fill 95% of their roles at A-level quality. Apple uses all-star team because iOS 10 was a mission critical initiative. This is one instance where Apple used its all-star performers to work on the iOS 10 operating system, which they created, as it was a critical initiative for them. And in addition, reward was applied to the team performance and not on individual performance. So that means unless the entire team perform, the reward would not be given. There was no an individual star performer from the team. And this is what they follow, which develops and drives the team spirit basically. And this helps illustrate how a company's talent strategy and performance management philosophy marry each other to optimize a business goal. I hope these examples would be beneficial to you. Now, other than these, John Burson, who is the president and founder of Burson and Associates, and who worked with Deloitte, has recently also identified 10 factors in performance management process, which as per him are the factors for affecting the effective performance management. First is philosophy, purpose, and culture, which means identify your company's philosophy and purpose and build them into your corporate culture. Second is make your goal settings agile, local, and meaningful. Local means limited to your organization or department, not what the other company is following. Let us also copy paste it in our organization. So ensure that the goal settings are aligned to the company's objective, clear, and have specific purpose that employees understand. This is very important for every organization or HR SPOC when they are setting up the goals. The employees' understanding or a buy-in to the goals is very important. Second is the manager should collaborate with the employee to set the goal. The goal should not be set in isolation by the manager and just handed over to the employee. The employee's buy-in is also necessary when you hand over the goals to the employee, so that one, they have their buy-in, they understand what they have to deliver. That helps to perform them better. Third is use check-ins instead of annual reviews. Annual reviews are outdated, ineffective, time-consuming, and costly. Weekly check-ins instead are helpful, and one should use them, so that it also provides an opportunity for the manager and the employee to give and receive the instant feedback on the work they have done and do the course correction immediately, rather than receiving the feedback late at the end of the cycle when it is of no use. Reduce and eliminate the impact of rating. Consider getting rid of the rating, which is the numerical scales that we follow. Even if to be used, then the manager should have discussion with the employee on performance and then rate. So the idea is, even if you want to use the rating scale, the manager should clearly explain it to the employee what are the areas he performed well, what are the areas where he needs improvement, and why is he giving the rating or deducting the score. And then the coach and develop your employees. This is the primary task of the manager nowadays. The best managers are the coaches who give ample feedback to help their employees perform at the higher possible rate. Managers should ensure available of resources for the employees to perform. Next, he says is redesign compensation process. So your compensation process should also be redesigned, which means find out which compensation model works best for the motivation of your employees and make changes. If possible, link the pay to goal achievements. Recognizing employees' contribution, even the top performers who regularly excel work needs to be noticed for their efforts, and small successes should be appreciated. Implement effective reward and recognition policies. Many of the organizations have now moved to instant recognition, on the spot recognition, which we say, and they do not wait for an R&R or a monthly R&R activity to happen. What managers have started doing is they instantly, if they find that the employee has performed well, they instantly praise them in front of the team, either give you a pat on the back, or they give a small good job card, something like that, so that you instantly appreciate the employee, which increases the morale of the employee. Simplify your process. Eliminate redundancy by reducing that by ensuring that all the goals and efforts are aligned and everyone is making unique contribution towards achieving the team, department, or the company goals. Use matrices to measure success. So mostly, as the principle of goal setting, everything should be measurable. The targeted or the goal set should be SMART goals, or following the SMART approach, you can say. So it helps actually providing a clarity and doesn't put a burden on the manager to justify where he did well, or why is he giving that rating, or where the employee could not success better. So identify the performance matrices that determine success both in terms of goal achievement and ongoing performance. Ensure that the employee have an understanding of these matrices. Last is train your managers on these practices. Train managers to ensure that they are managing their team according to company-wide performance management strategies. This is very important. Generally, what happens is that we design the HR process or any other process, but our managers lack in following that. So a regular training of our managers, having clarity of their understanding is very important, so that they do it in a right way and they follow the practice better. So what is the scope of performance management? I hope you all must have had a broad idea now through so many modules and slides. So the principal purpose of performance management is to measure, develop, nurture talent, and more importantly, drive performance in an organization rather than just measuring the performance. It should also ensure that it drives performance. The performance management ensures that the managers and team members share accountability of performance by jointly agreeing on common set of goals. That is, what they need to do, how they need to do it. They jointly implement, they agree, plan, and monitor outcomes. Performance management is concerned with everything that people do at work. It deals with what people do, which means what is their work, how they do, what is their behavior, and what they do it. That means how their results, what are they achieving. So it's not limited to my KRA or my work. Now the PMS also measures the behavior. How is your behavior? Are you abiding with the values, company's values or not? This way. And lastly, of course, what results have you achieved? Performance management data, or what we can say the review data which we create, it's not limited to that financial year or just to that particular review cycle. It also helps or further works as for the next stages of the employee's life cycle. So for example, the process is used to primarily in deciding rewards, so including performance related pay. However, this is not limited to it. The performance review data which is generated, that further can help into identifying the training needs of the employee. It can help in identifying the strengths of the employee so that the manager can utilize the strengths in the next project or next related area. It also helps in identifying whether the person is ready for the next role and can be rewarded with immediate promotion or not, what kind of remuneration increase should be given, and so forth. So that is it in this module from my side. Thank you so much.